right, family, Kiki Black here, and this is part 3 of my week 9 to 14 update. So, if you saw my last video, I talked about how we went to Atlanta, Georgia to tell my family that I was pregnant. Make sure you check out that story. It's pretty hilarious if you ask me. So I'm gonna keep going from there. So I did tell my family when we went to Atlanta in a very cool way. You can check that out in the previous video, part 2. We did have a birthday celebration for me, a late birthday celebration that Saturday while I was there, which was really great. My mom was super excited. We are manifesting a baby boy, and so at the event, you know, of course people didn't really know. Well, my mom took it upon herself to go to the store and buy a poster board, glitter pens, and made this huge sign that said, "It's a boy, put it up at this birthday party." So at first I was kind of a little shaken up because I still kind of wanted to keep it under wraps, because at the time I was only about 11 weeks pregnant. I wanted to wait until the 12-week mark, but then also my next doctor appointment, just to make sure that everything was okay. But I did talk to Micah, and he was just kind of like, hey, you know, people are excited right now. Let them be excited. Everything is okay. You know, that positive energy is towards our baby boy. It's all good. You don't want to worry yourself or put out negative energy like with the what ifs. And so at first I was a little bit kind of, you know, iffy about that, but I just went ahead with it. It was fine. And of course, when I did come back to Panama, I did have my update, got to see my baby boy. Everything was great, which I'll tell you guys a little bit about that after. Or later on. So after we left Atlanta, we went from Atlanta to Dallas, Texas to see Micah's mother. And then from Dallas, Texas to Houston for Ebony Fit Week in Houston 2024, where I taught a trap yoga class, as well as was one of the speakers for the Health and Wellness Conference on that weekend as well. And then we went back to Dallas after that. So traveling was actually okay. My doctor gave me a medication to take for nausea, and so what I did was, before my flying days, I went ahead and took it the night of, just to make sure. The day before we left Atlanta, I did get sick that morning. It wasn't that same nausea feeling so much, but I think I just ate too much. But I've been noticing more. I don't know if it's because the baby's taking up space, or if it's other fluids or things moving around, but I've noticed that I haven't been able to eat as much, and I've been having to eat a lot slower. So if I'm eating food like my normal pace and something is good, I notice that sometimes I'll get that little nausea feeling, or I'll get sick. And so the night before we left, we had crab legs, ribs, everything was good. I'll just say it was good. And so I got full super fast, and I wanted to eat more, so I kind of waited a little bit, tried to walk around some, and I ended up eating more. I did overeat, and I did vomit that morning before we left. It wasn't bad though. After I got it out, I was good, and the flight was okay getting to Dallas. So getting to Dallas, talked to Micah's mom. Of course, she got to see me, and you know, talked about the lack of my baby bump at the time, but that was good. And then from there, we went to Houston, Texas for Ebony Fit Weekend, which was kind of intense because you know, my birthday had just passed. Ebony Fit Weekend is essentially like party time, right? So you do your classes, your events, all of that during the day, and at the night time is essentially like, hey, party, turn up, or whatever. So I was very strategic when coming back to the US, because I knew, with it being right after my birthday, and as well as me being gone for so long, living in Panama. So for those of you who don't know, I am currently living in Panama City, Panama. So I did move from the US to Panama in September of 2023. And so this was my first time being back in the US since that move. All right, so it was a little bit over 6 months of living in Panama before I made my first visit back to the US. So As you can imagine, everybody's excited. They're like, oh, it's your birthday, we're celebrating. But what I did was, prior to, me and Micah have been really on the fasting thing. So we were doing a day each week of fasting, and then we'd do a set of 3-day fast, 5-day fast, 7-day fast. And his ultimate goal is to get to a 40-day fast. I won't be participating in that one. I may do some form of clean eating, but as far as just no food, I won't be doing that one. I did do the 3-day fast three times, I believe. And as soon as I was about to start working on my 5-day fast, I found out I was pregnant. And so against going with my doctor's orders to not fast, I did not continue with the weekly fast or to do the 5-day fast. So being that we were on that fasting journey, what I did was I took to social media. And so on social media, I'm on there and I'm like, hey guys, like I'm thinking about doing a year fast from alcohol. What do you think? Like, what's your vote? And then I had the little voting thing in my story where it's like, yes, do it. And then the other one was like, yes, but maybe just do a couple months. And then the other one was like, no girl, why are you doing this? So people were putting in their votes. It was like 30 people that responded. And but I did that, so if people saw me not drinking or they're like, hey, it's your birthday, I bought you a drink, I don't have to go through and explain and all of that. It's already been pushed out there that I would be fasting. So that was my out. So for those of you who were like, oh, that's awesome, like let me jump on board, my bad. I actually had a friend, shout out to Ziavra, who was like, girl, I'm doing it with you, no alcohol. And so kudos to her. Thanks for the support, girl. And it's actually an awesome thing to do. Micah's actually done it a couple of years back where he went the entire year of no alcohol. So I definitely suggest it. I have not done it. Well, actually, I guess I'm kind of doing it now, but it's because of the baby, not so much fasting, I guess. But yeah, so that was that. So I go and my bump isn't really, like, as you can see, I am almost 15 weeks. You could kind of see a little, let me stand up for you guys. So this is me holding in my stomach here. So this is all right. So you could kind of see a little something on days. It's just depending on the position of the baby. And then of course, when I eat like literally anything, it kind of fills out a little bit more. I'm not just crazy showing, I definitely can feel it. And if you look at my stomach, especially in the morning time, you can see the lump, just depending on where the baby is positioned in my uterus. But at this time being there, it was just a little slight something you couldn't really see. So those things were fitting differently. So I did kind of have to adjust the wardrobe a little bit while I was there, but it was fine. I drank water, when we went out, ginger ale, and just stuck with the whole, fasting thing. Although by the end of the weekend, a lot of the family knew. And when I say family, I mean in our fitness community, for a lot of the people who kind of work to put on Ebony Fit Weekend, Ashley, Greg, Cove, Fit with CJ, Jazz, a few other people that are around, have kind of been around for a minute. Since I was participating. So I was participating in Ebony Fit Weekend since the beginning. Did my first class with Ebony Fit Weekend in 2019, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was 2019, and have been participating, teaching, and participating in some shape, way, or form since then. So the family, the Fit family, which is more like my real family now, they kind of knew by the end of the weekend. And then Micah, so I told you guys about the health and wellness conference that was that Friday. He was just kind of dropping hints the whole time. He did a in addition to running the health and wellness conference, like I said, I was a speaker. He ran the entire conference alongside Fit with CJ and Coco Chanel, and he was just kind of dropping hints. And then he had a segment where he spoke about a few things as well. And one of the quotes was like, for example, Kiki is my vehicle to being a father. And so I was like, and then Fitness Online University, FOU, we had a segment as well. at the end of taking our picture, he like grabs my stomach and acts like he's biting my stomach in the picture. So he was dropping hints all weekend. So a few people kind of like picked it up there and came to me after like, oh my God, are you pregnant? And I'm like, yeah. So that part was cool, and it was fine. Like I was okay with it. I felt good about it at first. Like I said, initially I was kind of like wanting to keep it under the wraps or a big secret or whatever, but I'm like, you know, I'm a believer. I know my baby was doing fine. I just had to get that last checkup, and it was all good. And of course, you know, since then I've had the checkup, everything is doing great. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. Now, this is the intense part though. So when I actually had to teach my class that Saturday, so my first trimester, like I told you guys before, was trash. It was terrible. Like, I'm not even gonna say it was trash because my baby is healthy. That's the most important thing. But I felt terrible. Going to the gym was not an option. Literally, like, walking upstairs or walking anywhere for that matter felt like I was running a full-blown marathon. So I didn't know how my energy would be teaching the class. I taught my trap yoga class alongside of Planet Dari and my girl, the Houston diva. And so I had to talk with her before, you know, I'm like hugging her and everything. And I'm like, girl, I gotta tell you I'm pregnant and I don't know how my energy is gonna be teaching this class, so I need you to have my back. And she's like, oh my God, congratulations. And of course she did just that. My energy was fine. I don't know if it was the adrenaline or what, but I was like turned up to the max and like jumping everywhere, going through the yoga poses, interacting in the class. It ended up being absolutely phenomenal. So shout out to everyone who came to Houston and took my trap yoga class. For those of you, depending on when you're watching this video, all right? So for those of you who are interested, I will also be in Miami, Florida on June 8th, 2024 to teach a trap yoga class again for Ebony Fit Weekend Miami. So make sure you guys come out and support that as well. It's gonna be great. So yeah, that's about it for Houston. And I will give you the next part of my update, going back to Dallas and then returning back to the phenomenal country of Panama, how it's been, the hiccups, going to the doctor, the crazy thing that happened while we're at the doctor. So make sure you guys watch the next video, part 4, for that rundown. Peace out.